is just the start of the Big 12 and Power 5 talk to come. Listen to JJ and Alex Monday on your drive home. Afternoons from 3 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back into First and 12. Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry with you. As you heard, you can listen to Alex every day on the KSL Sports Zone, 3 to 6 here, and with JJ and Alex. And then you can, if you missed any part of this show, go to the podcast feed, KSLSports.com, KSL News Radio. So many different ways to listen to the show. We appreciate all of you for being on board tonight on this night spot. I know this is Alex's home away from home in many respects, being in this night window.
Thanks for doing the show again, man. I mean, honestly,
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work for us during the year because we both have a ton going on, and we have our families that don't see us until December. So, Godspeed, honey. I'll be home at some point this year.
Oh, and then in December you got this guy AJ DeBonza. So long until maybe April, honey. We'll see. We'll see.
It is. But this is so much fun, and college football. I've told you this many times. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
You talk about things that we follow, things that we cover. And people go, oh, you're probably sick of talking about this, but what do you think about this? And when people ask me that, I go, I'm not sick of talking about it. You know why? This is what I would be doing if I were an accountant. I would be talking about this stuff at work anyway. So I love it. So we've got tons to jump into this year, and we've got a lot of things that are absolutely interesting. I'm so glad big-time football is in the state of Utah. I'm glad that Utah and Utah and BYU are both in the state, in the same conference again, and rivals again, and playing every year again. That's the way it should be, and so that makes the Big 12 so much more fun.
We just need the Big 12 to end this October 18th stuff with BYU and Utah.
And look, TCU and Baylor are both playing October 18th also. Like, make these games mean something, like Kansas and Utah at the very end of the year. Come on, man.
If you wanted November early, own it. But just this bouncing around, that to me is now, it's not working in my opinion. But
or just do it in another country in August, okay? Then we'll be fine.
I can get down with that. Let's pull out the budget. Let's go to Ireland.
Send everybody
but
over.
I continue. I said a lot when I was talking on Cougar Tracks about that idea of BYU playing an international game. The pubs would just hate BYU. Like,
they have no idea.
They're going to show up to Aviva Stadium or Aer Lingus Stadium, but they're not going to the pubs, baby.
No, listen,
they're not drinking that Guinness.
No, they're like, I'm looking forward to some of your Irish potatoes. I've heard a lot, and they're like, what about Guinness? And they're like,
Kalani's silhouette etched in a Guinness beer. That would be epic content.
No. And then they're like, we have zero alcohol. They're like, still though, I'm not going to be around for any of that. It's like it is going to be. Look, I don't know what they're going to have to do to plan around it, but you're right. It can't be Ireland. It can't.
Mexico City.
It could
Tonga.
be Mexico City
or the islands.
You could absolutely do an island. You could also probably. I mean, look, you could do like a France or something and figure it out, man. I mean, look, the NFL's going everywhere now, so if they pave the way and they find a place, then they find. And BYU fans are going to travel. The epic shot of the missionaries wherever they're at in the world, they're going to be there with those tags on, man.
There would be a lot of BYU fans no matter what.
Let's go.
And we'll see if BYU can maybe get into Arlington. I know we had them low in our Big 12 power rankings. Let's call our shots for the season.
Yeah.
Alex, let's start things off. Who do you think is going to be in the Big 12 championship game in December with John Pardee as the halftime entertainment?
Oh, boy. Okay.
It was Nelly, it was Neo, now it's John Pardee.
I love that Brett Yormark. We've been enough around that guy that he really is like, I've got him on speed dial. He's my best friend.
Did you know
we're close.
Steakhouse recommendation?
Yes.
He gave you a steakhouse.
It's one of his wife owns. Like, I think, and he's like, tell him Brett sent you. Hey, look at me, Alex. Tell him Brett sent you. They'll know. TCU versus Baylor is who I've got. A rematch of, something that they're trying to make one of those big rivalry games. No better way to do it than to have an October 18th match up with one another and then meet up again in the Big 12 championship game in Arlington between two teams in Texas. I think that would be actually really, really good for the conference. I think that's how good those teams are going to be as well.
Like you, I'm going all Texas, but I'm going to head out to West Texas with Texas Tech making the game against TCU.
Wow.
I am bought into the TCU Horned Frogs at Texas Tech. Maybe I'm sold on all the cash grab and the transfer portal additions, but there's a lot of retention too with Texas Tech. So I'm going Red Raiders and Horned Frogs.
Offensive player of the year, Mitch, who do you have? It's probably going to be a quarterback. Right?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a QB because the QB club in this league and all the stats, 2,400 yards, returning from 9 different starting quarterbacks in the Big 12. And one of those guys is Josh Hoover. Maybe I'm just still so in awe of that performance 2 years ago, watching him in person.
As a freshman
against BYU. But I just still think that guy's got the potential to be what you envision Big 12 quarterbacks being, the video game number type guy with 4,500 passing yards. He could be that in this Kendall Briles offense.
Does he shake the furry image that he got during the offseason, Mitch?
That was such a terrible hoax. Oh, goodness.
That was wild. All right, I'm
going with Hoover, though.
I'm sticking with a quarterback also, and it's actually the other side of that Big 12 championship game. Sawyer Robertson is a guy who blew up. He's the reason that they were able to win those 6 games in a row at the end of the year. He saved Dave Aranda's job. That offense got figured out, and he did it. And I think he's going to be exceptional. He's going to be one of those good quarterbacks this year.
Defensive player of the year, who you got?
David Bailey. This is one of the – look, you could name off a couple of defensive linemen across the conference. You could name off a couple at Texas Tech, but David Bailey, the transfer out of Stanford, I mean, this is a guy who is a bona fide, like, you pick him. If you're an NFL GM, you pick him. You will not go wrong. This guy will absolutely be in the middle of your defense, solving problems for years to come, and he's going to be a problem for everybody this year.
Can't wait to see him for Tech in action this season. I'm going to go in-state. I'm going to go with Isaiah Glasker. You know, I thought Glasker was exceptional last season, led the league in tackles for loss, and I think he's going to be better this season.
I don't think anybody's that athletic at that size anywhere in the country.
6'5", 240. He plays at that linebacker position. He is so good for BYU at that Sam linebacker spot. Isaiah Glasker, he's my pick for Defensive Player of the Year.
Who do you have for your Coach of the Year?
I'm going to go Joey McGuire. Like you, I'm high on Coach McGuire. I think that this is the breakthrough year for him. The inroads that he has made in not only Texas high school recruiting, but then the portal. He's just done a great job in building and roster construction and inspiring the deep pockets of Texas Tech to commit like never before. Give me Joey McGuire.
I'm going to give you a repeat customer, a guy who was the Big 12 Coach of the Year 3 years ago. How about Sonny Dykes at TCU? If they're going to be as good as I think they're going to be, that's going to be a guy who's going to turn that program around. I think they get 10 to 11 wins, and they shock some people, and they put themselves in that conversation for the college football playoff at the end of the year.
Brett Yormark thinks that the Big 12 will get multiple teams in the playoff. What say you, Alex? How many teams are going to get?
I'm okay putting 2 teams in because I do think that if you have, as long as one of them has no losses in conference or one, you can't have this multiple 2-loss thing and then try to like beg your way in. It's not going to happen this year. So the ACC or the Big 12 are going to be allowed basically 2 entrants into this thing, you hope. And I think that you've got to steal one of those away from the ACC. None of this SMU Clemson garbage. Miami needs to be on the outside, on the very outside looking in. Get your conference champion in from the ACC, and then if the Big 12 is good top to bottom, this is the way they can show it. Get a couple teams in.
I'm with you. I think 2 teams reach the playoff. I think it'll be Texas Tech and TCU, the teams that I'm predicting to be in the championship game. I think they make it to the playoffs. So I think there will be multiple bids for the Big 12, and that's huge because beginning in 2026, it's going to be a new playoff structure. The deadline for that new structure to be created is December 1st, so we'll see what the future of the playoff holds, but it'll be good for the Big 12 if they can get multiple teams into that 12-team field this season. Great show, Alex.
Love it. First one out of the gates, and you did a great job, Mitch, as usual, man.
It's always a blast talking Big 12 football with you, Alex, and we will be back next Tuesday night. If you missed the show at all, subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast. We'll talk to you next week here on KSL News Radio.